Are we not live? What's going on here? All right, good. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm just getting on the chat so I can answer you guys if there's any questions. Hang on. There we go. All right, how's it going, y'all? I only got one camera here and it's my phone, so bear with me. Hang on. Turn down the volume on my live stream I'm monitoring here. So I'm going to do my best to give good angles, but this is my first live stream of attempting a bubble batch. So you're going to have to bear with me here. So, as you can see here, got some nice RO water. But we need to cool that down because it's not as cold as I'd like it to be. We got some batches on top here that we'll be running later. But what we're looking for, hello, is down below. Okay. Okay. So we're going to want to pre-chill our water. Okay. Strain is sugarcane from In-House Genetics. Seed number 5 of the particular seeds that we've gone through. So this is sugarcane number 5. The current profile is super sweet frosted mint sugar cookie. Like a Christmas cookie. All right. All right. Welcome to the channel. If I'm not the most talkative for this first little bit, it's because I'm kind of getting set up. There's a fair amount of work involved in that. Not the least of which is digging to the bottom of this freezer. And going, oh. Now here's the sugarcane 6. 355 grams of that, nice and perps. This isn't the one we're running tonight. Alright, what we're running tonight is sugarcane number 5. Okay, it's about 350 grams. Of some frosty goodness. Okay, let's put the number 6 back. We got a couple of jelly breaths here. And a couple jelly sickles. All from In-House Genetics. All right. So All right, we're going to stick that in the fridge. Now, we're going to want to set up a workspace right here. Okay. So we got our towel. This is our pressing screen's going to set on top of that. And we can basically absorb the water out of the hash patties. Just fold the pressing screen over the top and fold some layers of towel over the top. You're going to see how it works in a little bit. If you haven't already seen how it works on the channel, that is. Okay. So, oh, that's nice and frozen. Okay. There we are. All right. Okay. As you can see, always wearing the hair protection, beard protection. We got the gloves. So we're going to go ahead and glove up with the heavy nitrile gloves. We got one bag packed with our bucket, packed with our bags. I'm going with 25, 45, 73. I'm skipping up to 160 because I know everything from 73 through 120 is good full melt. So we're just gonna. This isn't a super dumper strain. It dumps a decent percentage, but not like nothing. It's average, you know. It's average. So I want to kind of concentrate my full melt, and I'm going to do that by collecting here in the 73 down from the 160 micron range, so that what would have ended up in the 120, the 90, and the 73 will all end up at that 73. Okay. So we're going to stir our bucket here a little bit. Let's just pull that out. Just wanted to break up that ice some. Okay. All right. So just kind of going to make sure you have extra chilly water here. You don't want to wash unless your water is very cold. I got RO water in here. I got store-bought ice. I do have an ice machine, but it needs a little work, so I don't have it up and running right now. Okay, now that's feeling awful cold. Let's get a look here. Nice and cold in our process. So, let's get ready to start stirring up. All right. We're going to stir in this vessel. We're going to dump through these. This stuff's still nice and frozen. Now you can see I did a little incomplete prep there. Let's fix that. There we go. All in told, we have about 350 grams of fresh frozen here, which we're talking what, 3.5 ounces max for it to be dried. Okay. Okay. We already got a little ice in there from the pre-soak. Or rather the pre-chill. But we want more ice. All right. All right. Don't want to go too crazy on the ice. And I think we can even add a smidge more water in there. Let me get just a little more RO water. Okay, when I was breaking ice up, probably wasn't a good idea to break the ice up in this bag stretching vessel. I just broke it. So I got to go grab another one of these. I'll be right back. All right. I generally don't really do a pre-soak when it comes to this stuff, but if 5 to 10 minutes, not a problem. I got a new bag stretching vessel here. All right. All right, we're going to chill this water a little bit. Okay. Don't want to dump warm water in when I just took all the time to chill it. Not the water is particularly warm, but it's not, doesn't have that icy chill that you want. Okay, that's better. So now we're just going to a little more. You don't want it so high that you risk water sloshing out when you're stirring. But that should be pretty good. Okay. So we're ready to start stirring up. Let's go ahead and set a timer. We're going to go for a 6-minute wash, first wash. Right away, we're starting to see the perps in here. What we want to do is get the kind of bubbling, roiling motion right at the edge is what I'm going for. I like to use a soft tool like a wooden spoon or a silicone spatula because hard-edged tools might beat up your material a little more. You see, I'm trying to get that churning motion at the edge of the bucket right there. You want it to feel like the ice is kind of freely flowing in there, you know, so you don't want it to feel like it's grinding stuff up. That's what we're trying to avoid. I almost feel like I did put maybe a smidge too much ice, but not anything that should be too problematic, I don't think. I am getting a nice churning, boiling motion there. And the smell of this is amazing. I'm already getting that sweet frosting smell I was telling you about earlier. This, when you get this hash, this full melt hash, and you dab it, it's like dabbing a Christmas sugar cookie. Massive amounts of frosting flavor right up front, and then you kind of get that cookie in the back. Man, look at that nice purple water. I don't know if you guys can see that on your screen. See, my motion is kind of this scoop thing. Just repeated scoop, scoop, scoop. And what I'm trying to do, like I said, get that roiling, bubbling motion at the edge. Just like that. I don't like to try and go all the way around. And like I want the minimum amount of this actually doing the work of beating up material, and more so doing the work of churning up my vortex. We got about 2 minutes left on the timer, but I'm going to give it another minute because I kind of haven't been stirring the whole time. But what I really don't want when I'm doing this is to feel like that stuff's all grinding together in there. I really feel like the ice is kind of flowing around freely. It's doing more of that than bashing into other ice and smashing into, smashing the lead between it. Yeah, they're just getting crazy purple color in this water. And the smell is outstanding. Smells just like sugar cookies. Super frosted sugar cookies. We're going to do 6, 10, 14, 20 as far as wash times, and then see where we're at. What it's yielding at that point. So. I know a lot of you might be tripping out about me picking stuff off the floor. You have no idea. I've mopped this floor twice in the last today. So trust me, that floor is plenty clean enough to pick some of my stuff off of. All right, my timer is good. I'm gonna go 1 more minute, just to make up for the time I was sitting here yapping instead of stirring. All right. That was about a good 6-minute stir. Roughly speaking. I might have blabbed more than 1 minute, but whatever. And yet again, there's still trichomes on that. I picked it up off the floor because my floor is exceptionally clean. That's one of the benefits of making sure your hash lab is very clean before you get started. So, let's go ahead and dump right through our buckets here. All right, there you go. Let's do a little quick rinse. Okay. Now, I'm just going to let things settle for just a minute. I might answer a couple questions if I see any that I want to answer. Okay. You're doing fresh frozen says, sorry, hang on. This phone's display kind of sucks. Grab it hand. At the end of the day, drying in any manner will volatilize some terpenes no matter how well. Oh yeah, definitely. You can't dry without volatilizing terpenes. The proof of that is when you open the box and you smell the hash. Current room temperature. Let's take a look. About 60. My floor is telling me 60 degrees-ish. Almost 61. About as warm as I would prefer to wash fresh frozen. Actually, I'd prefer to wash it about 40 or lower, but this will work, as you'll see in a moment. Yeah, drying without getting water traps is the hardest. That's where sieving comes in. So, all right. Let's. We're about ready to pull bags here. So what I'm going to do is set us up, hopefully, so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. And again, forgive me if my camera angles aren't the best. This is my first live stream batch of hash, so it would be nice to have an assistant working the camera, but that's just not the situation I'm in here. So, all right, let's take our. Can we see the? We can't really see what we're doing down here, can we? Okay. All right. We're going to pull our 220 bag. Oh, careful, try not to lose anything there. All right. We're going to grab a big bowl here. Hang on. So I just like to grab a large bowl and drop my 220 in that. I have big bowls. There we go. And the 220 is going in one. All right. Now, 190. Probably shouldn't pull very much in this 190. Whatever it will be just plant matter. Generally speaking, very little. Very little there, and what is there, I know might look kind of nice color almost, but nothing worth keeping. Okay. All right, now the 160. Okay, this ain't nothing, and here. Not only is it not nothing, but it looks beautiful too. The 160 out of my last batch of this ended up being just pretty much full melt. It was, you know, it was arguably full melt. Okay. Okay, I can tell you right now, I'm not feeling this particular tablespoon. Hang on. Let's try one of these. That's better. This has a better edge. Some spoons have better edges to grab all the last little bits. Okay. So we got that pretty clean. I'm just going to rinse what's left, which is very little, down the drain here. Okay, so here's going to be the money shot for this particular wash. This is where most of the hash will be. And it's definitely holding some water. All right, oh yeah. We got a nice patty here. I can tell you that right now. This one is going to be a pleasure to sieve. Okay, with our current room temperatures, I'm going to sieve these first two right away. So let me get this one collected up. Remember, this is both the 120, the 90, and the 73 all in one collection here. So it's all full spectrum first wash. Now this, I'm going to go ahead and wash it down into the next bag. What's left on my gloves and on my spoon. And as you can see, it's very sticky, so I really need to get to sieving this very quickly. All right. So let's take our bag out. Let's wash it down into the next bag, 45. Okay. Then we're going to wash it out in the sink, cold water. Sorry, I wish I had multiple camera angles, or I could, you know, I can't really shine this camera another way to show you what I'm doing everywhere here, but okay. All right. Okay. Okay. And I'm just moving it to different areas of the towel. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. I guess you can see it, yes. Okay. Now, I've gotten most of the water out of there. Let's take our red sieve, which is our gold grade sieve. Where's the spoon that I just had? I'm the worst about that. Okay. Okay. All right, so I didn't press too hard. I used the towel to kind of mitigate the amount of pressure I needed to put. And now I'm just going in here. I'm using the bottom of the box to kind of brace me while I break this patty up into pieces that are kind of almost small enough to start falling through the holes in the sieve anyway. But you got to do this real quick. You're fighting three things here. That's time, temperature, and pressure applied. And I'm on the edge as far as temperature, okay? So that being the case, I got to not apply too much pressure to my resin, as you saw there. And I also got to get it done quick. So we're just kind of little wrist flick motion, but also kind of, now that it's gotten down to size, I'm kind of doing a little scoop motion as well. And you can see I'm kind of just letting everything fall through here is the goal. I'm not trying to force it through. I'm not trying to exude it through. I'm just letting it be sorted through the holes. This is a sorting process. It's all a sorting process. Sorting has to do with every bit of it. Especially when I'm in a room like this where I'm kind of sweating, that is telling me first that I need to take off my hoodie because it's not that cold in here, but also that I got to work quickly and not drip sweat into my drying box, because that would be no bueno. So since I'm fighting slightly less than ideal conditions here, let me show you something in a second, okay? Since I'm fighting slightly less than ideal conditions, look at my sieve. Now, that might seem like a sticky mess, but watch this. So 60 degrees in my lab. I'm sitting here sweating up a storm because I put on my hoodie. But I just sieved a super sticky patty of fresh frozen. All right. Ooh, careful. Don't want towel fibers on that. Okay. I'm going to set this aside and label it in a minute. Okay. Now this hash is 160. It's still pretty melty hash right here. But it should be easy enough. It's not much, but trust me. Once let's see, I even kind of manhandled this through a little bit, which you can kind of do with your lower grades. Okay, so let's go ahead. Just a second. Just a second. Whew. I gotta take this hoodie off. I gotta ditch this hoodie. Oh my gosh. And I am sweating like a bear. Whew. Like a big dog. Okay. Maybe I should have wore a bathing suit, I jokes. Okay. Here. Okay. So there's our first two. So what we want to do right now, it's important to label your grades, okay? So, let's take where's our label paper? Where's our label? Oh. Okay. Okay. Then we got 159 through 73, wash 1, FF, WP, SC 5. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, okay, let's get this 45. Okay. Let's see how much we got in the 45 bag here. I always like to run the 45 and 25 on my first wash because it's just an interesting window to what you're going to get or what you're getting quality-wise. When you check your first bags of your lower microns. It's very rare, but occasionally you can get 25 micron full melt from your first wash. Okay. This is definitely not the patty that we had out of the last bag, but it's not nothing. It's going to be a significant amount of like a mid-grade that's going to turn into a top-grade rosin. And it's going to go in the bag, or the box with the other 160. Okay. You see a hair, and I pulled it out. Hairs are small things, and sometimes they can make a surprising way down through your bag set. Okay. Okay. Let's rinse this down into the 25. We're going to collect our 25, and we'll get these sifted too. Okay. Now with the 25, even when it's not holding much hash, that's not that helpful, is it? Sometimes it can kind of hold a lot of water. But the trick to that is just gently lift. Lift. Look at that purple water, that's kind of cool. Sometimes you can just do the tickle method there. Not necessarily squeeze it. You can totally squeeze the 25. This is just all ways you can do it and get your 25 to drain much faster. Oh, shit. That could have been a disaster. Okay. The color of what I've got in this 25 is pretty impressive, I will say that. Should make some nice rosin. Okay, let's make sure we're still focused in here. There we are. As you can see, nothing too much, but I do really like the color on that. And I know this isn't much, but when you only are running a little bit, like I tend to be, every little bit counts. Every little dab that I'm going to get off this is going to be enjoyed. Alright. So next wash, we are going to wash a good bit longer than that. Okay. So let's go ahead and sift this out really quick. We got our lower quality sift for the 45 and the 25. Okay. There was one little thing I forgot to prep, but this is holding its water pretty well. So I'm not too worried about that self-pressing and giving me problems, especially considering it's a lower grade. So let's go ahead and do one little thing I kind of forgot to do before I got started here. Okay. Now, okay. What is that? Is that like half? All right, so that covers about half, as you can see there. And now I want one more of these, but I'm going to cut it in two. All right, let's just cut this in half. I kind of like to try and flatten them out. They do kind of, once they come off the roll, they kind of do like to want to curl back up, but make this work. All right, so we're going to cover that up so we can not dump our other grades into that. So now we got some covers for our boxes that we can use. It's a good idea to have those on hand. Okay. Nice absorbent towel underneath there. And we just see that, got those two little wet spots. I don't know if you can see them. But that's a lot of the moisture being worked out. I'm using a lot of layers of towel here to cushion. Is this, hang on. Is this all, okay, so it should be all visible. Okay. And we just want to make sure that we get most of the water out this way before we try sieving, because if there's too much water in these patties, you're going to be sifting little granules of hash and little droplets of water onto the parchment, and that's no bueno. Okay, so let's go with the one that has the most there, and that's that 45. Okay. Nice and clean. You know what you're doing. You will not be leaving a lot of hash on your sifter. Okay, so let's use one more of these. Actually, here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. Okay. Now we got our 25 micron. Damn it. Oh, shit. Shit. I just dropped it, guys. Hang on. I might have stepped on it, too. I didn't step on it, but I don't know where it went. All right, I might have lost. Oh no, there it is. Now see. Okay, this is why I stress so hard on keeping your hash lab clean. This is why. Okay, stuff happens, and you do not want the heartbreak of dropping your hash on the floor. I don't know if you can see that. And not, pick it up and there's just hair everywhere, or something like that. So right now, I'm going to pick up this piece of hash. All fell in one piece off a floor that's just been mopped twice today. And I'm not at all worried about throwing this in my box because it was going to rosin anyway. And even if it wasn't, honestly, that's still a clean piece of hash because my hash lab is so clean. All right, so let's grab this up. grab this up. All right. Ooh, I'm still sweating, but I'm glad I took off that hoodie. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and label. So we've got 25, 45, and whatever's going to be here will be from wash 2. Oh. All right. Okay. Let's get ready to wash. Gonna pack our bags. Okay. So now that we've got that first wash out of the way, we're not going to run 45 and 25 until the last wash. We're saving those out for the last wash. So we're just going to run 73, 160, 190, and the 220 bag. Okay. I like to always run my material through one way, even though the bag is the same both ways. All right. All right, so again, we turn it the other way out. Oh, no, wait. Actually, that was already turned the correct way. Yeah. Harder to tell with the red bag because the band is really close to the color of this whole bag. All right. 190. This one's very easy to tell. The green band is much darker than the rest of the bag. Which way is the right way out? And we're going to take our 220, dump it back into our mixing bucket. And then back on top of the stack it goes. Okay. Ready to pour through the next batch now. This time we're going to go for a longer wash. We're going to go for a 10-minute wash here. Okay. So I'm going to set the kitchen timer at 10 minutes and we're off to the races. I'm hoping to pull a similar patty to what I just pulled on the full spec this next wash. I'm not going to be pulling the 45 or the 25 because I'm going to wait until and just let that ride, let that stay in the water until the final wash, and then I'll just collect it all out then. So that's all getting made into live rosin as it is. And I know a lot of people think, well, 25 and 45, especially the 25, how much is that going to be worthy of live rosin? You might be surprised. You might be surprised. You might already have a clue of that if you've been following the channel for a while and you were aware of the poll that I did asking what type of material that some rosin that I squished had come from. And only one person guessed it came from last wash 25. If you treat your material the correct way for what it is, you'd be surprised what you can get out of it. Now, I'm not trying to get that going. I don't really want the full vortex like spinning all the way. I'm trying to get more of a vortex at the edge of the bucket, as you can see here. And just get it roiling up around at the edge. I feel like that's kind of the least destructive to your material, rather than having a full spin. So whenever it wants to try and go full spin on me, I'm going to adjust my stirring technique up. And try and just get this. Very little of what I'm doing is directly beating up the material with this. I'm trying to make my motion as minimal as possible and still get that roiling vortex. This soft ass implement is not beating up my material. That shouldn't be the purpose of your implement. That's why a drill is so frowned upon, is because most of the implements that come with a drill are metal and very hard edged. They kind of beat up your material, and you're going to end up with more contaminant. You can see the lack of contaminant that I ended up with that first stir, and I was not shy about stirring. But really the effect I'm trying to achieve here with the ice is I want to have enough ice to keep things really cold, but I want it to kind of be like an asteroid field. Not like a real life asteroid field where almost nothing ever collides, but more like an asteroid field in a sci-fi show where you don't have a lot of direct impacts ice to ice. You've got a lot of glancing blows, a lot of near misses, but mainly the ice is all kind of dancing around in there without it hitting the other pieces of ice too much. That's kind of what you're shooting for. Or kind of what I shoot for anyway. Nice dance of ice particles in there. As you can see, I'm not seeing a whole lot of green in the water. The tinge of the water is still very purple with a nice light color, nice blonde trichome color to it too. And we are almost halfway through this second wash, 10-minute wash. Again, this isn't a lot of material. 350 grams fresh frozen might come down to about, might be 3 ounces actually max. You know what I mean? That's probably pushing it. Like, generally you're talking 1/5 or so. In which case, you're talking 70 grams, 3.5 ounces. Or, excuse me, 2.5 ounces of material basically is what we're talking about here. If it were dry. All right, we're about 60% of the way through the second wash. Third wash, we're probably going to go something like 15 minutes. Fourth wash, 20. I'm not sure if I'll go 4 or 5 washes, honestly. It all depends on how these next couple go. If I keep pulling decent amounts of good looking melt, then, you know, I'm going to keep washing. But there's only so much you're going to get off of what essentially would dry up to be 2.5 ounces of material. Now, if you get a true dumper, you might get lucky and get a pretty decent amount. I'm suspecting I'll probably end up with about what I did off the last one. Okay, I need to do something real quick. As soon as this is, it'll only take me a second. As soon as this is finished washing. Love that purple water. I can look at that stuff all day. See how limited the hand motion is? I'm not trying to go crazy, getting the most agitation that you possibly can. We're trying to get the most agitation with the least motion. That's what we want. So that's what I like to shoot for. Most agitation, least motion of the tool, least travel of the tool around the material as well. I'm still not seeing even a tinge of green to this water, which I like. Okay, we're almost done with this wash. All right, I'm going to go a few seconds past the timer here, just because I did do a little stop and explain here and there. Maybe 30 seconds max, I figured. I feel like the blonde is really starting to fight with the purple though. Hope that's a good sign. A lot of that could be smaller micron hash too though. Alright, so we're something like 30 seconds past here. Alright. Turn off the timer. Now let's go ahead. Let's dump through. I got to step out away from the camera for just a minute and I will be right back. Let's let this drain. Oh. You gotta be careful of that. Gotta be careful of that. Okay. Okay, we're good. Now this last little bit. Hang on. Okay. Okay. Let's do just a tiny little splish here. Just of what's left over in here. Okay. Now I'm going to let this settle for a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's take a quick look. See if we have any questions. No, a concrete mixer definitely would not be ideal. That's about one of the worst things, in my opinion, that you could use. If you do decide to use something like that, definitely be very careful with the agitation, but I just prefer hand or machine agitation with an impeller style machine. One of those two is just really the best options in my view. My machine isn't broken. I just wanted to wash this by hand. Hey Detroit, how you doing? All right, I think we've had about enough settling time here. Let's give it just a few more seconds and let's pull these bags. Let's just scroll back through here. Oh yeah. I might be growing bananium. Hidden House's bananium strain this coming year. Or extracting from it at least. I got a buddy who's growing it. Alright. Let's go ahead and pull. So we're literally only got 2 bags we're pulling here that are going to have anything in them that we want to keep. And that's going to be our 160 and our 73. That's the only other 3 bags we had in here besides the 220 was the 190, 160, and 73. So we're going to pull and we're going to have more in this 190 this time, I bet you. Still nothing worth keeping. Not very much, which I like to see not very much in this bag. It means I'm not getting a lot of plant matter. I'm not breaking things up a lot. So I prefer, now look at that. I know that looks like hash, guys. I know it does. But this stuff, I've tried so many times saving this stuff, and it's just not, to me, it's not worth it. But I'm going to bet you that we're going to actually have a half decent little pull from this 160 this time. Okay. Now this 160 I think is going to surprise us a little. I think we're going to get at least double what we got last round. It still isn't much, but I think it's going to be actually a half decent little pull. Okay. So what happened, why I decided to run this, oh, hang on. Sorry. Okay. What happened, why I decided to run this by hand this time, even though I've got multiple machines. My machine's not working is not an issue. I have plenty of machines. But, here, hang on. The last time I ran this Sugarcane 5, the other batch of it that I had from this plant, I tried it in the machine. I ended up go ahead and pulling it out of the machine and putting it in the hand stir because I wasn't getting what I expected from the test wash. And so I hand stirred it, and I got a pretty decent result. I got about what I expected, which was, you know, I was thinking maybe 3 to 4%. I got 3.5 of melt and rosin in the end. So I decided this time, hey, go back to the roots. It worked good last time. Let's this time let's also just go ahead and pull. Do it with a hand wash. Okay. Now we definitely got pretty much the same quality this second batch on the 73 through 159. I'd say we definitely didn't get quite the patty size that we did last time. But still, it's going to be a nice amount to add to the melt. This is going to be full melt, I'm guaranteeing you, considering how the last batch went. But I know these, at least these first couple and probably these first 3 washes will end up coming out full melt. Now the last time we had what, like a 4-gram patty-ish? Something like that, an eighth to 4 grams maybe. This time we got a couple, 2.5 grams of this. Definitely a nice solid patty of melt though, like it's that same quality we were pulling the first wash for sure. Definitely wash that down into the next wash, no worries whatsoever about that. Okay. And let's get this sifted and let's get spinning up to the next stir. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and get what I'm going to do this time. I don't think I need a whole box to sift that into. So I'm going to go ahead on this wash and use my little cover here and just sift into the bottom part of this box. I feel like, hang on, just a moment. There we go. It was a little too wide. Okay. Now, let's prep the sieve. And again, we're using the many layers of towel here. Yes. That helps cushion the impact. And I'm not pushing too hard on this resin and turning it into a self-pressed patty that I can't sieve. That's an easy thing to do with this high quality hash, especially when you're around 60 degrees lab temp like I am now. Okay. I feel like that's pretty clean as far as water. I got most of it out. Now, breaking apart nice and easy. I got to it right away. You'd be surprised the temperatures. I could probably go another 5 degrees up. I probably could do this in a 65 degree lab, even with this quality of fresh frozen, which is a high quality. But I would have to be definitely on the ball like I am here, doing it real quick. Not let that sit around. And see, we're just kind of sorting it around. I'm not like scrape, scrape, scrape. Okay? That's not how you do this. You just kind of want to sort it around there and let the pieces fall through. You're sorting them through. You're not smashing them through. Okay? That's an important distinction here. Oh, the smell. A smell I want to take a dab so bad. It's too wet. But I want to take a dab so bad. Ugh. I love vaping my flour. I've been vaping flour for a couple weeks now at least, and I'm ready for a dab of hash. I'll tell you that much right now. Okay. So now, we're kind of at the similar situation we were before. Hold up. Get that off best we can. So we got it off the top. There's still some on the bottom, but that'll scrape off now. Okay, now watch. See that? See that? And let me stress, these tools are not chilled. This did not come out of the freezer. It's just 60 degrees ambient room temperature is the temperature of my sieve. And look at it. See much hash on there? I sure don't. Whew. Smelly. I love it. All right. So, good. Now our next wash, our next 15-minute wash is going to go up top here. And they probably end up being combined if it looks this good. Okay. I'm going to label this in a minute. All right. Here's our box from the last wash that has all the lower grades. Don't mind my little DOG, she's just likes to bark at things. She's like, yes I do. She'll shut up eventually. Alright. So here's our 160. Again, pretty similar to what we got last wash from the 160. And this, you can kind of manhandle it through the screen a little bit more so than the. Although that honestly slightly told me fuck you. There we go. There's methods. I probably lost a little to the floor there, but it's okay. This is all going to probably end up being squished into a good decent grade live rosin. And sieve still came out pretty clean. All right. Okay. Now, yeah, it looks like a similar amount to the first 160, honestly. Okay. So we're going to go 160, wash 2. All right, let's get on wash 3. Oh wait, almost time to get on wash 3. Just a second. got 159 through 73 FFWP SC5 wash 2. All right, let's pack our bags. We're at least, at a bare minimum, going to do 4 washes. So this is going to be a 15-minute wash. Again, we're not putting the 45 and the 25 in this time. We may put it in the next wash if we get little enough from this wash. If I can get about the similar amount that I just pulled from this wash in this next one, I might go for a 4th and then a 5th wash. We'll see. Just all depends on how well it keeps pulling and how clean it looks while we're doing that. Okay. $190. All right, and then of course our lovely 220, but we gotta do this first. Good enough. We're nice and clean on the outside. Yep, good. Okay. Okay, set that aside. Let's do a 20-minute now. Let's see. Okay. I'll leave that in there because that helps me rinse down the bucket without adding extra water. 20-minute timer. And we're go. Man, the smell still coming out of this bucket, it's heavenly. It really is. If you love yourself some Christmas sugar cookies, like, that is. That's the smell to me of this particular strain. It's just wonderful. Actually, I put a 20-minute on, but I meant to do 50 in this wash, so I'm just going to do it down to the 5-minute mark. Yeah, because I'm going to do the 20-minute wash next wash. I'm not going to do 20 this time. And depending on what I get, the next wash may be the last. It all depends on what this wash yields. I know to some of you this may seem like small peanuts, but this is my stash, and it's top shelf, absolutely top quality. This may not be the dumper strain that I was looking for as far as quantity, but I'll tell you what, this is something special. This is something I wouldn't hesitate to share with the Bubble Man himself. And you know, I wouldn't even tell him about the Christmas shirt cookie. I'd be interested to hear his, because he's got such a dang nose on him, and his olfactory is just finely tuned. I'd be interested to see what he gets out of this terpene profile. Of course, that's probably not going to happen. I don't know when I'm going to actually meet Bubble Man. I'd like to at some point, but we've interacted on the water extraction hash makers group a few times, and he's an awesome guy. I love Bubble Man. Taught me everything I know basically about this stuff. You know, granted, you know, I learned a bit through my own experience too. You know, but all that base of knowledge that helped me get there came from him. If you're looking for the best channel on YouTube to go to absorb the information about this particular technique, water hash, I can't recommend Bubble Man highly enough. I'll tell you that. Okay, we're getting there. Almost a third of the way into this wash. Your hands get tired, you know, hey, always got two hands, or well, hopefully you do. If not, hopefully you got someone to help you stir, or you got a machine. But yeah, you know, for most of us, we can switch hands. You know, one hand gets tired, just switch the other hand. Simple as that. But yeah, oftentimes when I'm like running, I know I'm running a small batch, I know I'm running something that's not probably going to dump for me. I think hand washing is a good way to make sure that I can get the max that I'm able to get, the max possible. Sometimes the machine washing, not very often, because usually machine washing is just as reliable as hand washing, but I have found a few instances where, like the last batch of this that I tried to wash, where the machine washing, I tried machine washing one wash and, you know, just didn't get the results. Threw it in, hand wash, and got the results I was expecting. You know? It's not going to turn an average yielder into a dumper, but it'll at least let you unlock that average yield. Not to say that this is superior. In most cases, the machine works fine. Most cases, the machine works great. I'm a firm believer in the machine. But in this case, knowing that I was having difficulties getting the yield I wanted with the machine at the last batch of this, and that I did fine with a hand wash, it's like, okay, this is like the medicine I have right now, you know? I don't have a single thing to dab. So, this first batch, I'm going to run this other half of this material that I already ran. I already know it did good with a hand wash. I'm going to hand wash it again. That purple is getting darker, but I still don't see any real green in there, you know, aside from the actual pieces of green floating around. So now we're a third of the way through this second wash, 5 minutes in. We're going to do 10 more minutes. And again, using my soft edge tool, just trying to get a nice churning action at the edge of the vessel. And man, I have to say, when when you're running low on material to extract in there, because with a lot of strains, it smells so strong the whole time. Like right now, it smells really strong. The whole time you're washing and there's still more to pull, it smells so strong. But the smell does start kind of declining a little bit. Obviously, the more that you pull out of that water, the more that material, that smelly material, then your smell will start declining, and that's kind of a clue as well, you know, aside from just what you're pulling out of the bags, to let you know, hey, I might be getting close to the end of what I can get out of this particular batch. And I'll tell you what, you know, like I said multiple times now, this is not a dumper cut by any means, or at least this particular plant of it is not dumping. This is the first time I've run the Sugarcane 5. It was this particular plant, the batch before and this batch. But, so, you know, maybe it was something in my grow op, whatever, you know, I could see that. It's definitely the quality where I'm going to be running it again, just to see if I can do better the next time, because that flavor is really special to me. I really love it. But yeah, we got the food grade bucket, we got the RO water. Now if you got a Lowe's bucket and you got tap water, you know, hey, as long as your tap water isn't too high in ppm, you know, you got to use what you got to use sometimes. I'm using store-bought ice, which I don't really prefer, but you know, sometimes you got to work with what you can get or what you have available to you at the moment. So, you know, don't think that you can't run a batch if you don't have a hairnet and beard net and every single item that I have here. Try and get as many of them as you can, definitely. But ultimately, you can do a pretty bare bones batch of this stuff and still get good results. We're down to 12 minutes now, and that's out of 20. We're going to just go down to the 5-minute mark, because we'll do a 15-minute wash this time. Add 5 minutes from the last wash, which was 10. I'm still not seeing any real sign of green color in the water. We're not having chlorophyll leach into our water. A lot of that has to do with keeping the water really nice and cold. That ice really helps to avoid that. And you know, it also is very strain dependent, because some strains you start washing and the water turns green right away. There's just nothing you can do about it. And sometimes when you get really green water like that, you're still pulling nice blonde, beautiful melty hash. But green water is not necessarily an indicator that you're pulling shitty or a small amount of hash. It can be. It can definitely be a sign of a low quality batch, but it isn't always. But that's not what we're seeing here. This water is still nice and purple and just beautiful, with nice blonde undercurrent to it. And really the only green I'm seeing is still the plant matter being spun around in there. We're down to almost, yeah, we're 10-minute mark now, so we got 5 more minutes on the wash. We've already done 10, which is about the same length as the last wash. But we want to kind of see if we can pull a similar amount of that full spectrum, full melt, which is going to be full melt. Mark my words on that. Only probably about a 5-star, but it's not going to be 6-star. If I was able to have a larger amount to run, and I could separate out that 90 and that 120 and that 73, somewhere in there, I bet we would have a 6-star product. But when we combine the three, it's probably going to end up being about 5 stars, which is fine with me. As long as we got 5 stars, I'm not going to complain. I'll dab that all day long and love life. See, we're not trying to get that whole spinning deal. I more like want the roiling at the edge. So once it starts spinning on me, I'm going to change directions. All right, we're down to 8 minutes. We got about 3 minutes left out of a 15. So that means we're 4/5 of the way through this third wash. All right, 2 more minutes left. A little under 2 minutes. We still got a lot of ice in here. I'm still not really seeing any green tinge to this water. So I'm liking that. We're going to see just how much hash we're going to still pull out in the 159 through 73 micron range. And then we're going to decide whether we want to go like 20 and then 30, or if we just want to go all out, do like a 20-25 minute wash next time, and just pull everything we can pull. All right, we're a minute left. Less than a minute. So if I pull similarly to what I pulled last time, we're going to end up with a little over 3/4 of an ounce off that, around 700 grams of fresh frozen. Not a whole lot, not a huge yield, about 3.5%. But not a tiny yield either. There's, you can do a lot worse, and the quality, as I've said, is just outstanding. I love it. All right, we're down at 5 minutes now, so we're good. She's spun up for another wash. As you can see, we're kind of definitely getting some foam now. I didn't really prep my sprayer. I don't know. A lot of people are really into the spraying. I might wrestle a couple jimmies with this, but I don't think the spraying does all that much. Because my reasoning is, once it's in, you pull it in a bag screen, right? All the particles, whether that be plant matter, whether that be hash, whether that be whatever, are caught in a certain size mesh. Do you really think, A, that you're going to spray material down through that mesh and out that was captured in it in the first place, and B, that if so, the only material you're spraying out is contaminant, and somehow you have a magic spray nozzle that knows to spray out only contaminant and not ash. Yeah, it cleans foam mainly. It cleans foam. It cleans chlorophyll in the wash if your wash is getting green. I don't think the spraying does much, guys. I know people think it's such a huge part of the problem. I disagree. I disagree. I pull ridiculous full melt all the time without worrying about a spray bottle. So. Hold up. Don't you go nowhere. All right. Okay. Let's take our little water we saved. We can do the swish around thing. Try and any little trichomes that might be on the sides. Get them out of there. All right. So wash 3. We're just going to give it a minute to settle. I'll be right back just a moment. Okay. Let's let things settle for just a moment. And then I will start pulling these bags. Hey, thank you so much, Pro Bong. Thank you so much, buddy. That means a lot to me, Pro Bong. I really appreciate it. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you've been seeing an improvement in your quality. Donovan, that seems familiar. Go. Give us all your gold. All right. Yeah, man, I'm grateful for all you guys. I'm grateful for everyone who joins me on these hash batches, and there's definitely any more coming up. You can see, if you were here since the start, that there's some other batches to be run for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead. And there we go. Get a view of our sifting and collection station. All right, so we're going to need our bag stretching vessel here. Okay, so that's 5 minutes. That's definitely, it hasn't been 5 minutes since since I stopped stirring. It's been about 5 minutes. So that's definitely long enough, though. Once I poured that in, we're good to start pulling these bags. So, all right. Okay, we may be pulling the next wash for the last wash. We'll see. These next couple bags are going to tell us, these next few bags, exactly what we got going on. So I'm starting to gradually see a tiny bit more little dark flecks in the 190. And again, I know some of this looks nice and gold still, like, oh man, why aren't you collecting that 190 even if it's a tiny bit? Wouldn't it add up? I mean, yes, it adds up, but you're adding up a bunch of contaminant basically. This is mainly like stalks, cistillate hairs, nothing that we really want to keep or collect. 160 on the other hand, let's see if we pulled anything there. Or if we mainly pulled what we were going to pull out of that particular micron range. Definitely starting to get some foam here. Here's the part where it would sometimes be helpful to have a spray bottle on hand. Just because the hash is a little bit foamy. Kind of a lot foamy. But honestly, as you saw last wash, that didn't really stop me from pressing the water out of it, and the foam went away pretty much right away. So it's nothing much. I know this seems ridiculous collecting these tiny little pieces, but it all adds up, guys. It all adds up. Okay, now here, I'm hoping we pull about what we pulled last time. I said the H word, guys. All right. I'm really hoping I can fill the other half of that box nicely. And if so, I might decide to go ahead and pull a fourth and a fifth. It all depends. I want to say this is not too dissimilar from what we pulled last wash as far as size. A little bit smaller. That last one was definitely 2+ grams, and this one is more like 1+ grams. Maybe 1.5 at best. So yeah, we're kind of getting diminishing returns, but the quality here still looks basically identical. Honestly, like... Okay. Okay, we'll just wash that's on the screen there down into the next wash. It's a tough choice, guys. I think I'm going to pull one more wash before I do the final wash, honestly. I know it's going to add a lot of work, but right now this is all I've got to dab on, and I'm still pulling really outrageous quality. And granted, I'll be squishing rosin off this tomorrow, but I won't be able to dab on the full melt for another 2 weeks. So I'll obviously try like a tiny taste just to, get a little taster. Might even try it on camera here tonight, but yeah, for the most part, that stuff sits in my closet for 2 weeks until it's really dry. Actually dry. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, I think, and make this a 5-wash ordeal. It's already been a 2-hour wash, though. I don't know. Maybe I should just make it a 4-wash ordeal. Just pull more rosin at the end, Drop everything down to a 45 and then a 25. Because a lot of 45 hash is probably floating around in there. That could make the next wash much more legit as far as like what I could pull some rosin off of. And that'll keep me dabbing now that I'm out. So maybe that's what I'll do. Okay. Okay. So let's get our the water out of these patties first and foremost. Let's get this out of the way. So again, we're folding several layers of towel up, like so. I'm not putting a lot of weight on this. You can see we got these wet spots here, so we move it over to a nice drier area. Okay. Nice springy towel, which helps. Helps to avoid putting too much pressure on your resin. Now that's good, that's fine. All you need to do a couple, 3 times because there's not very much there. So, since it's not as much, it might be easier to go with the slightly smaller sieve here. We got a little from down there. I don't know what that is, but I'll throw that in with the 160. Okay, so we're just gonna, we got another gram or so here, maybe a smidge more, and we're just gonna go all across the top of the box here. And again, we're moving them around, we're breaking them down, we're sorting them through. We're not smearing, we're not shoving, we're not exuding anything through the sieve here. Okay. All right, so that's our third wash, and we probably got a similar amount here, a little less, but not too different from what we pulled on the full spectrum on our first wash. Okay, so let's go 159 through 73, wash 3. Now I think, because we got so little off the 160 last time, we can make a slight adjustment in here. Let's do that. We can make just a slight little adjustment. All right. So, okay. What we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And we're also gonna do this. Okay. Let's cover that up. Now we got this one little slice here that's going to be fine for this little bit of 160. It's not much, but it's going to add to our little stash. Okay. All right. And I know that's hardly shit, but you know, once I combine all my lower grades and press a little rosin, I'm gonna have some dabs off that. All right, let's go ahead and we'll split this down the middle. We're gonna draw a little arrow. 160, wash, 3. Okay. Executive decision. I'm going to go ahead and make this the last wash. We're going to wash for a good 20 or 25 minutes. I don't know. I'll see how I'm feeling at the 20-minute mark. Whether I feel like doing this any further, how the water looks, you know. Okay. All right, Freak Show. That's awesome. I've heard other people running Freak Show say that it does good on hash. So good luck on that. I hope you got a dumper cut of it. Oh wait. Nope. Okay, this is the last wash. So we're going to want to collect all our small micron hash. I just said this is the last wash, and I started doing it like I was doing the second to last wash. Okay, so we want our 25 micron down to the bottom. All that small micron hash has been floating around in there for the last couple washes, and we want to collect that. Okay, then instead of doing our 73 micron, we have our 40 micron. This is the Bubble Bag brand, but it's the Bubble Bag Lights. Sometimes they come off colors, but you still get that white band that tells you this is the 45 bag. So we're going to collect everything 159 through 45 instead of 159 through 73, so we can get a nice last pull that's going to give us some good rosinables. All right, so there's our full spec. Then we skip straight up to that 160. We're probably not going to pull much on this last 160. Heck, we never pulled much off any of the 160s so far. But it's going to help clean up our full spec, if nothing else. Get less contaminant in there, the better, for our later process of pressing rosin or whatever we choose to do with it. So let's next up, of course, this is okay. Just because I throw the material that comes in this bag away, don't mistake this for a useless bag. This bag is your cleaner. This cleans out a lot of stuff that you do not want, and right now, some of that 160 I pulled, I can dab. It'll get clear dome. It's just on the verge of full melt, you know. So, and the reason for that is because I have a 190 in here, pulling out that contaminant that I don't want. So don't mistake a bag that doesn't provide you with hash that you want for a useless bag, because that's about the farthest thing from the truth when it comes to this 190 bag. It's far from useless. Okay. All right. Okay. Good enough. You don't gotta get every bit, but I just try and get most of it. Okay. And another thing you want to do is examine the outside of your bag. I don't want plant matter on the outsides of my bags, not even the 220. Okay. Speaking of plant matter, dropped a little, let's just throw that out. Okay. And back in the stack with our work bag. All right. So, once again, we got our 25. We got our 45. We got our 160, our 190, 220. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that these were all well and truly in the bucket. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do at least, let's see, I'm going to put 25 minutes on the timer here. And when I'm at 20 minutes, I'll decide whether I want to go any further from the look of the water and just how I feel. So we're already 2 hours in. Looks like we're going to end up being about a little over 2.5 hours in before this batch is done. But as you can see, we still just got a beautiful, really no green to the water, all purple. I will say now, I may be a little early. Yeah, I am catching a little aroma. But like I was saying last wash, where I was still smelling that good smell, I'm not smelling it as strong anymore. I think I may have pulled a large percentage of what's left in this water out. There's still, I can still definitely smell some, and of course, like I said, these last two washes I haven't been pulling the 45 through. So that stuff has been sitting floating in the water, the 45 and the 25, wash 2 and wash 3, and now it's only going to be collected on this wash 4. So we should actually get a decent full spec and some 25 to actually make some decent rosin out of. And this time I'm kind of going a little harder on the stir. I know it's my last wash, so I'm going a little bit harder. Because right now, I'm probably not going to be pulling the best of the best full melt at this point. Especially considering I'm dropping it all down to that 45. So mainly what I want to do is pull everything I can. Especially like I said, considering I'm not exactly sitting fat with a bunch of batches to run. There's few. Not all those in that freezer are mine. All of them but 2 are. But yeah, you know, once I run all those, that's the hash I have for a while. So I'm trying to coax every last little bit out of this that I can. And that includes washing a little harder on this last wash. Fine. As I spin this up a little harder, I'm starting to get the smell coming up again, though, I will say that. But like I said, I haven't been collecting the 25 and the 45, so we know there's at least a decent amount of that floating around in the water still. So that's going to give me that nice Christmas cookie smell. For all you stuck with me through this whole batch, I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you who watch my content and rate, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. The videos, especially those of you that support me on the Patreon. Shout out to Barcelona, Spain, because that's my single paying patron right now is from there. Sorry, Malibu something or other, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry if I got that wrong. But yeah, I appreciate all you guys. Even if all you can do, is just watch the videos, subscribe to the channel, comment, like, all that stuff. All that free stuff still, it means the world to me. Any little bit of it, I'm just trying to get my method out here. I want to share my passion for this craft, and you guys make that possible. So thank you. Next batch I'll do it with a machine so I have more time to actually interact with you guys, where I'm not sitting there having to stir 100% of the time that I'm not collecting. So that'd be one nice thing about doing a live stream with the machine is I can let the machine do the work and sit there and BS with you guys, which would be cool. I'd like to be able to answer more of your questions, and other than just having to be constantly at work doing this hand stirred batch. I'm still really not seeing green to the wash. Very, very purple. Still little nice golden hues in there as well. And the green I'm seeing seems to just be the plant matter. It doesn't seem to be leaching into the wash, which I'm really thankful for. It's always nice when you can stir down through several washes, especially long ones like this, and still have that water nice and purple, beautiful color. How are we doing so far? All right, we're already over 5 minutes in. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to run that full 25 minutes. Heck, I might even go 1 or 2 minutes past. I don't know. Just trying to wring every last bit of beautiful resin that I can out of this, And even if it's like later wash, it's not the most beautiful, I can still make it more beautiful with the rosin press, So either one way or the other, I'm getting something nice out of this wash. And I am kind of trying to go ham a little bit more with the stirring, like I said earlier. I'm not so much caring about trying to be gentle and get my best quality melt. Right now I just want to get the quantity that's left. Not as worried. I still want to do the best quality that I can, you know, when I account for that, but ultimately I'm trying to pull every last little bit that I can out of here. Because like I've mentioned a couple times already, when you're running 350 grams of fresh frozen, it's really not that much material. Sometimes if you got a true dumper on your hands, you'll still pull really nice from that. But, you know, hey, I'm just thankful to have an average yielder on my hands here, where I can still pull some nice head stash that's going to keep me dabbing rosin and full melt for a while. On top of this, I'm really excited. This has got that super sweet Christmas cookie, that frosting right up front. If anything, the Sugarcane 6 that I have in there, even sweeter. But maybe not frosting, maybe something else. I'm trying to figure that one out, but it'll be more easier to figure out once I can take a dab of it, you know? It always makes life a little easier when trying to describe a flavor. About 8 minutes in. We're about a third of the way into the wash. Almost 10 minutes in. All right, we're officially 10 minutes in, 15 to go. Into our last wash. So we're going to pull full spectrum, dump the 220, dump the 190, keep the 160, whatever little there might be in there. And then we're going to go full spectrum from 159 through 45, which likely will get squished into rosin, and collect our 25 from that last wash too, which again, even though it might not be the best quality, it still will actually make some decent live rosin. If you get to it in the right amount of time, you just got to treat lower quality hash a little differently. Where you can actually usually pull a surprise, especially from fresh frozen, you can actually pull a surprisingly decent quality of rosin out of 25 if you treat it right. I got the air blowing in at me from outside here. I'm kind of curious. I want to see if it's gotten any colder in the lab since. We're at 57.3 degrees on the floor now, as opposed to about 60.8. So, you know, as it's gotten colder outside, and I've left the door or the windows open, rather. Then, you know, our lab has gotten colder and colder. I'm more and more comfortable because I'll tell you what, when I was sweating like a big dog that first wash when I was wearing my hoodie. That was a mistake to put that on. especially in a 60-degree lab. I don't get cold that easy, as you can see. My hands are kind of half-assed in the water most of the time, and I got pretty good circulation. The more and more roughly I stir this, the more I'm... Oh, wow. Oh. The more I'm smelling that sugar cookie, that super frosted, minty sugar cookie. Like, not minty in a menthol way, minty in a candy mint way. You know? I'm not big on the menthol strains. They can be okay, especially depending on what else is in the terpene profile. But candy mint like this, oh, I can't get enough. I can't get enough. How are we doing here? We're down to about 12 minutes. We're about halfway down. 12 and a half minutes roughly. Halfway through the wash. Through our fourth wash. So far we've collected nothing but quality. All the full spectrum so far. I guarantee you I'm going to be dabbing rather than pressing in the rosin. So all that 73 through 159 is going to be full melt. It's going straight into a jar. The number one seed of this is the sugarcane number 5, but the number one seed of this is like this crazy guava nectar gas type profile. Oh my gosh, I love it. I think it's my favorite sugarcane profile. And I'm going to grow a full tent of 4 of those here pretty soon. And I'm going to extract that whole tent, and I'm going to have a nice little yield of some full melt off that. I extracted that a couple years ago, and oh my gosh, definitely something special. We're down to 10 minutes now out of 25. About 3/5 of the way done with this last wash. Oh man, I'm really starting to get that smell strongly. I hope this last pull surprises me on how much I get out of that full spec. Really, almost the gold is starting to dominate the purple kind of here. But I still am not really getting any significant amount of green to the wash. I'm loving that. Down to about the 9-minute mark. All right. Definitely some foam to this last wash. No doubt about that. I almost wonder if I'm starting to see a tiny bit of green creeping in the water, but it's still mostly purple and gold as far as the color of the water. How are we looking on time? All right, we're only about 6 minutes left, a little less. So I might even go a minute or two past the buzzer, who knows. Try and wring every last little bit of resin out of this that I possibly can. Officially the 5-minute mark, under 5 minutes. All right, we're getting there. Already about the 2.5 hour mark for the stream. Looks like it's going to go close to 3 hours before this batch is done and through in the boxes and then drying in the closet. But thanks for joining me for it. I really appreciate it. Once again. And I hope y'all are getting some good value out of watching me hand wash this batch. I know I'm getting some good value out of hand washing this batch myself. Even if I wasn't putting a video on my channel, I'd still be getting some wonderful hash. And having already tasted a batch of this same material off the same plant, I'm really excited to taste some more because, man, it is just absolutely fuego. Just delicious. How are we doing? Down to 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes now. And again, I think I'm going to go a minute or two past the timer. Just to get every last little possible bit that I can. As you can see, I've been going much harder this last wash. Trying to really wring this material for every trichome that it's worth, you know. Honestly, I still see little to no green creeping into the water. I love that the chlorophyll isn't bleeding into this wash. Because certainly there's a lot of strains where, you know, maybe they don't even bleed the chlorophyll in that soon. But by this amount of washing and this hard of washing, especially on this last wash, there's definitely some strains, good strains, dumper strains that I've run before, where, you know, by this time your water is looking awful green. And that's just not what's happening here. Got nice golden tones, we got nice purple tones. Not a whole lot of greenishness to it, other than the green that's floating around in it. How are we doing? We're less than a minute to go. We're going to go at least a minute or two past. Alright, hold up. I'm going to add 2 more minutes onto this wash for a total of 27 minutes for this last wash. So we went from a 15 to a 27. Almost doubled. We're just, like I said, we're just trying to wring every last bit that we can out of this. Final 60 seconds. On the home stretch. Ten seconds. There we are. That's a batch, ladies and gents. Just about. Still a little more work left, but it's almost all over but the drying, folks. All right. Okay. Let's let this... Hold up. Actually, hold up. Let's pour this in here. So what we want to do first... Okay, make sure... Okay. I'm just not trying to pull my bags down. I think we're good. Okay. Not trying to yank my bags out, I don't think. All right. Let's take our remaining wash water. Once again, just kind of wash the sides of our bucket down with it. Try and get all the trichomes we can. There we go, and maybe one more rinse out with clean water on this last wash. So I'm just gonna use my sprayer nozzle here in the sink. And just the last little splish. All right, let's chill and let that drain down through. Okay. Hell yeah, Jay. I definitely am going to run the machine next. So we're going to probably do the sugarcane number 6. I'm really excited to try that flavor because it's very sweet like this one, but it's a different, it's similar, but it's a different sweetness. I'm really excited to try that one out, and that'll give me more time to kind of interact with you guys. So I really appreciate y'all sticking around. There's still 18 of you in the room here. All right. So how are we doing here? Yeah, we basically bottomed out at about 57.5 degrees on the lab temp, which, you know, not really ideal, but fine. Fine if you know what you're doing and you're working quick enough. That temperature is just fine. So, one thing I'm going to do here, hold that. There we are. Okay. One thing I am going to do here, because I've already been kind of, this is a really absorbent towel. Honestly, it's still pretty dry. But what I like to do towards the end of the wash is just give that a flip. This side's drier, so it's just going to make life easier for pressing the water out of the hash. All right, I think we're ready to pull bags now. Let's get this last wash pulled. Let's clean our bags. Let's clean our equipment. Let's wipe off the water off our floor. And let's call it a batch. I might even go ahead and decide to go in on some of that earlier wash melt just to give you guys a little smoke report. I'm going to take my little spray nozzle here. Hang on, I'm going to take this off the screen for a minute. Spraying down the bag a little bit. This last pull, okay. We got the 160. Or excuse me, 190. That pulled out most of the foam. Let's take a look. See what we got. Again, it's not a huge difference. It's very foamy, but what I can see there doesn't seem hugely more contaminated than the last batches. I'm not seeing green. Not seeing much of anything. Okay. Let's pull this 160. I don't even know how much is actually in there, because even though it didn't look like there was any foam left in the water, it still pulled some foam. Here's the spot where the sprayer might be helpful, but I forgot to prep one, so we're just going to deal with it. Now what we have here, honestly, is not much of anything, but I'm still going to collect it. Okay. Mostly foam, not much hash there. We'll wash our bags. As I've been doing each time, I just wash them quickly with cold water between pulls. Now here's where we might pull a decent amount. Just because of the 45 that's been spinning around in here the whole time. It's definitely holding some water, so you know. What we got here is the product of the 120, 90, 73, and 45, all in this 45 bag. And honestly, the color still. Okay, I don't know how long I'm going to have this. I'm at 1%, but I wanted you to at least maybe see some of this. So here's our 25 on the right, 45 through 159 on the middle, and left is the tiny bit of 160. Okay. I'd say this is around a couple grams. There's some good full spec here that might even be worth dabbing instead of pressing into rosin, which is impressive for a fourth wash. Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's do our 25. Again, not much, but it's going to squish into something. I'll get a dab or three out of this. You can kind of manhandle 25 through the sieve. Okay. Same goes with the last wash 160. I can just kind of manhandle this right through the sieve. It's nothing much, but I'll mix it with my other lower grades and it'll produce a little rosin. I'm actually glad to get that little off the 25 on the last wash. That shows me my material did not get too beat up, even with that harder stirring on the last bit. But there we are. Okay, so let's label and we're good. Wash our bags, clean up, and that's a batch. And I have to say, a batch that was not a bitch. It was a rather enjoyable experience, hopefully for all. I know it was for me. Okay. 45 through 159. Wash 4, FF, WP, SC5. All right, 25 and 160. There we are. We got 4 boxes of hash here, ready to go into the closet. Hooray! But before they do, hang on. All right. There's our water. Definitely starting to get a brown tinge, but I'm not seeing any green still. All right, let's dump it. Okay. Okay. Now, let's go back. Here's our wash one full spec. So, being as I've been out of dabs for a little while, I'm going to get a little impatient here and just try one little dab. If you're sitting on hash, I obviously don't recommend this. But when you're out, sometimes it can be nice to have a dab, especially if you've been out for a little while. So I'm going to grab just a little bit here. And make myself a little hash flag. Just a tiny bit. Oh, the smell coming from this box, guys. Okay, that's all I'm going to touch of this box for the next 2 weeks. Tomorrow I'll squish a little rosin out of the lower grades and that'll keep me dabbing for the moment. At least until I can run some more batches and get some more lower grade rosin. Okay. Okay. Okay, nice and clean. Let's make sure it's extra clean. Okay. Now I'm going to cool it down. Look at the clarity there. Okay. Let's go. All right. This is going to sizzle a little. This is not ideal. It's not as smooth as it could be. It's not as good as it could be. But it's still going to be a delicious ass dab. Cheers, guys. I'm going to let it melt a little bit longer. Tiny bit of sizzle and the most gorgeous clear domes. And oh my God, the taste. Oh man. Minty Christmas cookie. With extra frosting. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. As always, this has been David with Full Melt Extractions, reminding you to keep up that passion for the hashing. Thanks for watching, and happy hashing.